Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night alongside Gino and Raphael Aliyah. I'm Kevin Wolf, and you're watching Box Score.
All right, guys, so World Series kicks off tomorrow when the LA Dodgers come to Fenway Park. Dodgers fresh off over a Game 7 victory over the Milwaukee Brewers, taking on the Red Sox, coming off a 4-1 series victory over the Houston Astros. So I've got the Red Sox coming in a 5-game series win. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I'd be more convinced that the Red Sox could pull out a sweep over the Dodgers. I think they're that good. And I think that over the fact that the Dodgers could extend this to 7 games. I just think the Red Sox right now are playing the way you want to be playing in this kind of circumstance. I don't think they're the best team. I didn't think they were a better team. They were a better team than the Yankees, maybe. I didn't think they were a better team than Houston, but they played better, and they were getting production from guys like Jackie Bradley Jr., Rafael Devers. These are guys this is what needs to happen if you're going to win a World Series any season, and it just so happens that this also happens to be a really good team. But you got Chris Sale going against Clayton Kershaw trying to dust some old demons out of his playoff closet, and you have Chris Sale coming in trying to recover from a belly button ring irritation. Now, he walked that back actually recently, saying that he was just joking, but then the Red Sox are kind of being a little tight-lipped about what the stomach illness really was. I'm just not buying it. He passed it off really seriously. That's the kind of thing that you would hide if you're the manager or if you're the player, so I think passing it off as a joke is kind of funny anyway, because I believe it even more now, if possible.
As much as the next guy, I appreciate a nice piercing. I've got 2 diamond studs in here, but if you're getting sidelined for it, it's definitely not worth it.
I'm a lot like Gino. I think this is a 5-game series. I think Clayton Kershaw, this is the first time in his whole career that we've seen him actually perform in the postseason. I think this is one of those moments that they paid the money to get him there years ago. He's here. He's got to deliver in the postseason. He's got to deliver in the World Series on this big stage. I think with the drama going on with Chris Sale, this could be a game that the Dodgers win. But ultimately, as the saying goes, class shows over time, and I think the Red Sox win this series.
All right, I agree. We all agree on that one. So, all right, next topic of debate here is Manny Machado, Dodgers stud third baseman, is coming out with ridiculous claims about how he's a player that doesn't like to hustle. He can't hustle. He's tried it before. He really can't do it. And it begs the question, could you have a guy like this on your team? You know, he's 26 years old. He's got a lot of upside, a lot of talent, but do you want a guy like that on your team?
The comments were laughable. You can't. I'm not that kind of guy. I've never been the kind of guy to hustle. No, that's ridiculous. You hustle, regardless. But even more ridiculous than that are the Yankee fans now that I'm seeing, because now, you know, with Didi Gregorius getting sidelined because of Tommy John for a good bulk of next season, now those conversations are picking up. Manny Machado, good fit. They were picking up before. And now you're getting guys on Yankees Twitter that are like, no, I don't want a player like this. He's a dirty player. He spikes guys going into second base. He doesn't want to hustle. We already have that with Gary Sanchez. Don't need another guy. Listen, that's just even more ridiculous than the statements. 27 rings. These are the fan bases that, you know, want championships. And if he's going to give you a championship, and like you mentioned, just a 26-year-old stud at a very good position to have, a 26-year-old stud. Now, if he's going to guarantee you or get you closer to ring number 28, trust me, you're not going to mind.
I totally get what you're saying, Raff. Personally, I don't love a guy that doesn't hustle like that. I don't love a guy that doesn't do it the right way. I didn't love him dragging his cleat at first base. I didn't love him, especially on the second slide, going into the shortstop to break up that double play. It didn't really look like he was going for the base. But at the end of the day, this is pro sports. You get paid to win. So if he's bringing home championships, how much can you really complain?
Very good point. All right, on to the NBA. So the Houston Rockets had a 124-115 victory over the LA Lakers this week, but what we're here to talk about is not about what happened on the court. Well, it was on the court, but after a hard foul, Brandon Ingram shoved James Harden, which led to a huge brawl between the two teams, and essentially, Rajon Rondo spit in CP3's face. 4-game suspension for Brandon Ingram, 3 games for Rajon Rondo, and 2 games for CP3, who ended up throwing some punches on Rondo for spitting on him. But I don't know. What do you guys make of this whole thing?
Well, what did you guys think when you first saw it? Like, did you believe initially, like without the slow-mo, that he actually spit? I mean, Rajon Rondo, not the classiest act on the court, but still, to spit on a guy right there, it's kind of a weird move in general.
Now, even in the slow-mo, it was hard to see the actual spit.
Yeah, you really needed to slow it down.
You saw Chris Paul's face drop when that spit hit his face, and he put his finger right in Rondo's face, and that didn't end well for either of them.
It was a little strange how it all went down because the camera kind of panned away from the altercation as it was going down because I think it was Ingram who initially fouled. Someone walked towards midcourt. The camera seemed to follow them. But Mike Breen started going crazy. There was punches thrown. And it was really disappointing for me because Rondo's a guy who's, I believe this is his 12th year in the NBA. He's been around. He's been the young guy on a team with good veteran leadership when he was in Boston with Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. He's been that middle-aged guy when Boston went through that rebuilding phase, and he had to be kind of the guy that was still there from the championship team. And now he's the guy on the Lakers who's expected to be this veteran presence and a guy that the younger players are supposed to be learning from. So for me, it was disappointing to see that. Not good to see Chris Paul caught up in that either. A lot of people may not know Chris Paul is the president of the Players Association. That's not a look you want to be involved in. So it was really disappointing. Additionally, the kids at home are watching that, and that's not an example you want to be setting. So there's no place for that in the game. I'm glad to see suspensions handed out. I hope it's quelled quickly, and this is all we hear from it. And both teams are talented. I hope we can just see clean and good basketball from these teams going forward.
I totally agree, and it's kind of funny because the math doesn't really seem to add up. You know, you have Brandon Ingram shoving James Harden, and then the next thing you know, it's CP3 and Rondo getting into it. So you don't like to see stuff like that on the court. So then on to the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs' explosive offense is the main topic for debate today. So they put up 45 points against the Cincinnati Bengals, who were a respected 4-2 team going into that game. And it really just says a lot about the Chiefs. The Bengals were totally outmatched from the beginning. I love that Al Michaels quote that you can't really trust what you're looking at when you see the Chiefs. It's like it's something you're totally not accustomed to in playing football as a defensive player. They send guys in motion left and right. There's diversions everywhere, and it just begs the question: who's going to stop this Chiefs offense? Because even though they put up 45 points, they weren't totally polished. There was a lot of penalties in that game. Tyreek Hill drops a wide open touchdown. So if they're firing on all cylinders, who knows what could happen with them?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking backstage before this. Mahomes kid finally seems to be the missing piece. This is an Andy Reid offense. We've seen Andy Reid be successful in multiple different places. What was the criticism these past couple of years of that Kansas City Chiefs offense? It was that Alex Smith didn't want to throw the ball downfield, didn't want to take chances. Well, now they got their gunslinger. You'd be hard-pressed to find a guy in the NFL with better arm talent than Patrick Mahomes. He had a full year to sit out. I believe he only played one game last year. He got to see the game from the sideline, got to learn the NFL speed, how the NFL moves. And if anything, it's a souped-up offense with a little bit better weapons, and Andy Reid's just letting them rip.
Now the question is, at this point, how far will this offense go? Will it only go as far as their defense takes them, or is it just as far as Patrick Mahomes could go and keep on slinging? We haven't seen recently that kind of offense just propel a team to, say, a Super Bowl. You know, there's always has to be some kind of defense, but then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel like they weren't a heavy defensive presence. They just got through with an offense that didn't make many mistakes. So you guys think it's just the defense that needs to hold off, or is it Patrick Mahomes just going to drag his defense with him to the Super Bowl? I
think it could be a little bit of both. If they really want to make a run for this thing, I think their defense needs to come through in some games. Like they came through against the Bengals, only 10 points allowed, and the Bengals are supposed to be one of the top offenses in the league, putting up almost averaging almost 28 a game. So they really came through yesterday. I know. I mean, when you play those playoff teams, you need to hope your defense is going to get some stops for you on the last drive, because you can't really live through every game hoping you get the last possession, because that's just too dangerous. It's living on the edge. You don't know if you can win every week like that.
I agree. I think the defense either has to shore up a little bit and be more of a bend but don't break defense, or be a defense that's going to take the ball away and give Patrick Mahomes extra possessions, because you can't just be Swiss cheese in the playoffs going up against a guy like Tom Brady. He's going to cut you up all day.
Totally. All right, last topic that's still in the NFL. Amari Cooper traded to the Dallas Cowboys from the Oakland Raiders for a first-round pick. So we know Jason Garrett needs some weapons. We were talking back before. We couldn't even name their number one receiver. They got Cole Beasley, I guess, coming in, but they have no real weapons. So Amari Cooper kind of gives them that, but he's an inconsistent player. So what do you guys make of this move?
Well, quick credit where it's due, right? Oakland Raiders, they get a first-round pick. Josh Gordon went for a fifth-round conditional. So credit there, credit to Jerry Jones. He gets a stud wide receiver.
I didn't love the move. Cooper's a guy that struggles with drops. There's been talk about whether he loves the game or not. You never like to hear that. Once again, this is professional sports, and a physical game like football, you got to be all in, or you're going to get yourself or someone else hurt. So I didn't love it. I was shocked that they got a first-round pick. I thought it was laughable when John Gruden was asking for that, but hats off to him for getting it. And we're seeing a Raiders team now that doesn't look anything like what we thought it would coming into the season. But John Gruden's on a 10-year deal. This could be, he's got, 5 first-round picks now? This could be John Gruden building the team in his likeness. So watch out next couple years. Maybe it's 3 or 4, but the Raiders could be something.
Well, guys, we got more on this next week coming up. Guys, box score every Monday for Gino Galella, for Kevin Wolf. I'm Raphael Leah. Have a good rest of your week.